Hello, my name is Kamal Mansour, and today I'll talk about my criterion, the symbols of Socrate, and so I'll discuss about the main ideas, symbols that I used, and the techniques that I used. Yes.
Describe your final pattern and the symbols you used.
So my final pattern features two main symbols, the compass and the star. I arranged them in a symmetrical layout with circle forms and smaller dot elements. I use stamping techniques with carved potatoes to repeat the symbols in an organized pattern.
What's your artistic intention?
My artistic intention was to express a personal journey, the inner search for direction and the purpose, represented by the compass, and the drive toward dreams and goals, represented by the star. I wanted to create a visual balance between guidance and aspiration.
Analyze your symbols and the pattern.
The compass symbolizes my internal sense of direction, values, and the way I navigate through life. The star symbolizes ambition, hope, and dreams that guide me forward. The circular forms create unity and flow between these elements, emphasizing continuity and completeness.
Why did you choose these colors, shapes?
I chose green for growth, life, and hope, and brown to present grounding, stability, and connection to the earth. These colors reflect the balance between aiming high, as the stars, and staying rooted as the compass and the earth. The shapes were simplified by geometric to create a strong visual impact with repetition.
What message were you trying to express visually?
I wanted to express the idea of finding one's path and holding on to dreams, what even if the direction is unclear. Inspiration can still guide you forward. The repeating symbols communicate a journey of self-discovery and aspiration.
Why did you organize the symbols in this way?
I use symmetry and repetition to create a sense of harmony similar to sacred patterns or mandalas. This arrangement reinforces the spiritual feeling of guidance and focus, and also mimics how direction and goals are constantly interconnected in life.
What do you think is the most successful part of your final artwork?
I think the most successful part is the way the stamps created a clear and balanced pattern. The combination of organic textures from the potato stamps and geometric designs made the final result visually engaging and meaningful.
What would you improve in the stamping or design if you did it again?
Next time I would work on making the stamp edges cleaner and more precise. Some shapes were not fully symmetrical due to the carving technique, so I would spend more time refining the stamp shapes for better clarity.
How effectively do you think your pattern communicates your sacred or spiritual idea? Why?
I believe my pattern communicates the spiritual ideas well because the repeated symbols and structured layout give it a meditative and intentional look. The use of earthy and vibrant colors also supports this of balance and inner reflection.
How do your use of space, repetition, and color support the symbolic meaning?
The repetition reinforces the importance of direction and dreams through life. The organized space and alignment symbolize stability and focus. The color contrast supports the duality of spiritual grounding, brown, and the inspiration of growth, green.
Can you explain how the pattern might be interpreted differently depending on the viewer?
Different viewers might see this pattern as a decorative design, a map-like formation, or even celestial zen. Someone might relate it to their own journey or feel a spiritual connection through the symmetry and shapes, even if they don't know my exact intention.
What visual decisions did you make intentionally to enhance the sacred message? How do you know they worked?
I use symmetry, repetition, and balanced colors to create a calm and reflective mood. This shows how the visual languages of many spiritual or sacred artworks. I know they work because the final composition feels intentional, harmonious, and meaningful, not random or chaotic.
Outline what you learned during this project and what was something new you tried.
I learned how to plan a symbolic composition and transform it into a repeated pattern using stamps. I tried carving potatoes for the first time, which was a new and creative way to print designs.
Describe what carving or design techniques you improved. How did your stamping get better over time?
At first, carving the shapes was challenging. The cuts weren't clean and the paint didn't transfer well, but as I practiced, I learned how to make deeper, more accurate cuts and how much paint to apply for a cleaner print. My stamp control improved with each try.
Analyze challenges that you faced in creating stamps and how you overcame them.
One challenge was keeping the stamp shape consistent, especially for detailed symbols like the star. I overcome it by sketching the design carefully first and practicing on scrap paper before stamping on the final piece.
What helped you get better at composition or stamp control?
Using my pencil sketch as a guide really helped me place the stamps correctly. I also learned to press firmly and evenly to get a clearer print. With more experience, I got better at spacing and rotating the stamps for a balanced look.
How do you see your artistic thinking changing compared to the beginning of the project?
At the start, I was focused only on design, but by the end, I started thinking more about meaning, how each visual should support a message or feeling. My thinking shifted from just creating something nice to creating something meaningful.
How did this project help you explore your personal or cultural identity?
This project helped me reflect on who I am and what guides me in life. Choosing the compass and star symbols made me think about my values and dreams. It was a way to express my identity through symbols rather than words.
How has your approach to creating art changed after the years?
Now I understand how important symbolism and planning are. I approach art more truthfully, thinking about what I want to express and how the viewer might interpret it. I'm more intentional in my design process.
What skills will you carry forward into your next creative work and why?
I will carry forward the skills of visual planning, symbolic thinking, and stamp printing. These skills help me create art that's not only beautiful but also meaningful and well organized. I also learn patience and problem solving, which are important in any creative process.
Hello, my name is Asen, and today I'm going to talk about my final artwork on the unit Symbols of Secret.
Describe your final pattern and the symbols used.
My final pattern is made using two hand-carved stamps. I created both stamps with regular erasers using a cutter. The first one shows a large bird, an eagle, with white wings flying over a ship on the waves. The second symbol is a Chinese cone-shaped head. I arranged these stamps in a rectangular grid, 3 columns and 10 rows, with 30 stamps total, alternating between the bird and the head. Together, they create a symbolic pattern that reflects two important values, freedom and wisdom.
What is your artistic intention?
My goal was to express something personal, how I see myself and what I value. The eagle over the sea shows my love for the ocean, my desire for freedom and inner strength. The Chinese head represents my respect for Chinese culture and how I admire wisdom and balance. I wanted to show that both sides, movement and reflection, are part of my identity.
Analyze your symbols and the pattern.
The eagle is a powerful symbol that shows independence, vision and energy. The sheep adds the idea of a journey. The Chinese head is calm, stable symbol. The contrast between the two symbols creates a balance, like two forces working together. I use them in a repeated pattern so the viewer can feel that balance as they look across the artwork.
Why did you choose these colors and shapes?
I used blue paint for the eagle and sheep because blue reminds me of the sea, the sky and peacefulness. It's a strong, calm color. For the Chinese head, I used red, a color that's common in Chinese culture. It shows energy, wisdom and tradition. The shapes are simply but symbolic. The bird is wide and bold, while the head is small and focused.
What message were you trying to express visually?
I wanted to show that both freedom and knowledge are sacred to me. The bird is about strength and independence, and the head is about calm thinking and culture. I think these values can live together, and I tried to show that with rhythm, balance and contrast.
Why did you organize the symbols in this way?
I arranged the stamps by alternating them, bird head, in a 3 multiplied by 10 rectangle. This created a clean, repeating pattern that helps guide the eye. It also makes sure that neither symbol dominates the other. The layout keeps the viewer moving between the two ideas, freedom and wisdom.
What do you think is the most successful part of your final artwork?
The eagle and sheep stamp is the most successful part, as I think it printed clearly and the image has the energy. People could tell what it was, and it really shows what I wanted to express, the feeling of moving forward, being strong and free.
What would you improve into stamping or design if you did it again?
I think the Chinese head stamp didn't come out as clearly. Sometimes it just looks like a triangle or a random shape. If I did it again, I would make the shape simpler or carve it deeper to make it easier to recognize.
How effectively do you think your pattern communicates your sacred or spiritual idea, and why?
I think it communicates my idea well, especially if you know the meaning behind the symbols. Even if you don't, if you don't, the pattern still feels calm and balanced. The use of space, color, and repetition gives it a spiritual rhythm.
How do your use of space, repetition, and color support the symbolic meaning?
I left enough space between stamps so each symbol is easy to see. I repeated the pattern to create rhythm and balance. The color choice, blue for peace, red for wisdom, help show the difference and connection between the two ideas.
Can you explain how the pattern might be interpreted differently depending on the viewer?
Yes, some people might not recognize the hat or might see the eagle as just a bird or something else. Others might see strength, peace, or tradition. I think different people will find different meanings, and I think that's okay. That's a part of what makes symbolic art interesting.
What visual decisions did you make intentionally to enhance the sacred message? How do you know they've worked?
I chose two very different symbols with strong meaning. I made one bold and wide, the eagle, and one also like a white and as big as the sheep, the head. I used specific colors to match their meanings. I know these choices work because people who looked at my work said they could feel a contrast, a balance. For example, one said that, and a message even before I explained it.
Outline what you learned during this project and what was something new you tried.
I of course learned how to carve stamps, how to plan a pattern, and how to express meaning through shapes and color. I had never made stamps before, so this was completely new for me.
And describe what carving or design techniques you improved. How did your stamping get better over time?
At first, I didn't know how to hold the cutter properly. My lines were weak and shaky, but after practicing, I learned how to press the right way, how to hold the cutter properly. Mr. Ahmad told me how to, and follow the curves better. The last stamps were way cleaner than the first ones.
Analyze challenges that you faced in creating stamps and how you overcome them.
The hardest part was carving the inside of the sheet. It was small and detailed, and the cutter would slip. I slowed down and concentrated. I was supposed to have actually a sword symbol, waves with stars, but I couldn't cut it out. Maybe it was because of a different type of eraser.
What helped you get better at composition or stamp control?
Making test prints helped a lot. I saw where things were too light or too messy. Also, looking at classmates' work gave me ideas about spacing and layout. I tried to be more careful and thoughtful with each stamp.
How do you see your artistic thinking changed compared to the beginning of the project?
At first, I just thought about making something that looked cool, for example, like Louis Vuitton stamp patterns. But now I think more about what something means, how people will see it, and what I'm really trying to say with my art. I think that's a big change for me.
Please discuss what you have learned about visual communication through symbolism.
I learned that even a very simple image like a bird on a sheep or a hat can carry deep meaning. Visual symbols can express personal stories or emotion without any words, and I think that's powerful.
How did this project help you explore your personal or cultural identity?
It helped me realize what ideas matter to me. I love the same freedom, but I also really respect culture, knowledge, and balance, especially like in Asian countries, in Asian traditions. This project helped me combine both in one artwork.
How has your approach to creating art changed after this unit?
Before, I only thought about colors or cool designs. Now I ask myself every time, what is the purpose of this art? What am I trying to say with it? Yes, and personally for me, that's also a big change. It's like change the way I think and work.
What skills will you carry forward into your next creative work, and why?
I will definitely keep using symbolic thinking. It makes the art more meaningful. I will also use my new carving and planning skills. They taught me how important it's to be precise, patient, and thoughtful.